open it up for any questions.
Thanks so much. Super, super insightful. I have a couple of questions. I guess my biggest one is based on a preconceived notion, right? Which is to me historically the best and the worst source of customer feedback or prospect feedback is like the sales org and the CS org, right? But both of those are predisposed to collection challenges and all kinds of biases, right? But most notably, like recency bias, right? Like big deal, features missing or whatever, and that becomes like the focus. One, do you agree with that? And two, how do you overcome some of those challenges?
Yeah, so I think a lot of that is culture, right? When you build your company into a culture of constant data collection and giving them a caveat to where you can grab that data and build metrics to where you're measuring daily, hey, if you lost a deal or if you won a deal or, you're scheduling, here at Kaseya, what we do is we schedule pulse checks. So all the executives of different products meet with customers to check their pulse and see what's working, what's not working, things of that nature. And it's a requirement for all the reps to schedule at least, 3 or 4 a month, right? So you make things mandatory, you track it on the metrics every day and making sure that you're getting this information, you build reports, and this has to be done daily. It can't be done once a week, once a month, anything like that, because now you don't know when you get the gap in the data, right? But when you build it into the culture, that feedback mechanism is so important, and that you're doing things for the masses. You're going to have those one-offs, right? But those one-offs will derail the rest of your revenue that you can sync from the rest of the customer base because of that one deal while it's a large deal, right? And to me, I'd rather have 10 deals that equal that one large deal, because then I have 10 customers that I can grow with versus that one.
Right. Yeah, that's super, super true. I guess pragmatically speaking, obviously, like the underlying thesis here is happy customers have a higher LTV, they're stickier, they're going to pay more, all that kind of stuff. Pragmatically, though, like even from just enticing the business, the operators in the business to do the right thing, these pulse checks, these conversations, these are like real-time revenue expansion opportunities, right?
Yeah, because normally what you're hearing is not only feedback about the current product, but it also gives you a chance to understand what other problems and the impact those problems make, where now you can listen in and you could potentially have other opportunities while they may be bad-mouthing or not happy about this one thing, but you find 4 or 5 other areas and that they never knew about that you can expose to them and see if there's a way to help there, right? And so it gives you some time to collect feedback, whether it's improvements on the product or things of that nature, but it also gives you a chance to listen in to what else they're dealing with, what other market trends are happening, right? And pivot quickly instead of waiting 6 to 9 months and then you're behind the 8 ball and now they're shopping.
Right. So you made the assertion that it's got to be like part of the culture. It's got to be org wide. And for me, I'm just thinking about the practical elements of this, and for sure, like product, sales, marketing, CS, everybody has to be on the same page for this like feedback loop to kind of be a revenue driver. For companies that are maybe earlier on, or maybe they're even bigger, more mature companies, but they haven't necessarily done this well. Mm-hmm. What are some tips or tricks that you might have for getting people on this path?
Yeah, the first thing is, identifying the top metrics that you want to track on a daily basis, right? And it's not to, belittle anybody when the metrics aren't hit. It's more about, hey, these are the metrics that we feel are important to drive the business forward. And after we review it, what does this data mean, right? Are we seeing something that's happening over and over and over, a common thing that we need to really look at and say, oh, we've heard this from, 25 customers out of the 50 we've talked to. This may be a common theme, right? It's also about just understanding, well, if we do this, how does it affect the rest of the group. So it's really establishing just some core metrics. And even when started at Kaseya, it was, probably 200 people at the company. It's probably over 5,000 now. But when we started at the organization, we did some very simple data collection that allowed us to understand what was going on. And a lot of it was, why did we win? Why did we lose? And then when we meet with a customer, what are they saying? And the reason why we did it at an executive level rather than at a rep level, because a rep wants to do it to close a deal,
Sure.
right? The execs want to do it to improve long-lasting profits for the org, as well as for their customers and partners, right? And so the executive can affect some change, but they can also look at this as a strategy for when they're talking to their investors or their board to make sure, hey, this is what we're hearing, right? And if this is our core responsibility to the marketplace, this is the purpose of why we're here, then this is where we need to start shifting to, right? But it allows you to make those decisions and say, well, no, is this part of our core purpose or not, right? But that core purpose and getting those metrics to understand how you measure back to that core purpose is important.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Donti. That was really insightful. I assume if people want to learn more about Kaseya, Kaseya.com is the place to go. If folks want to, get to know you a little bit better, pick your brain, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so they can always link in to me, Donti Twine on LinkedIn, and I'm always happy to talk to people. The company I work for is Kaseya, so you can look for me on LinkedIn, find Kaseya, and I'm always happy to help. Any insights or anything I can provide, I'm always happy.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Everyone that's listening, thank you for being part of this session. Thanks again, Donti.
Hey, no problem.